Roman.
Yes.
Nice to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you,
My name is Khalid.
All right, nice to meet you.
So we're just coming today and we're asking people if you believe in God, and if you do, what's your faith?
Yeah, so I'm a Catholic. I got crucifix right here. So I believe in God, yeah.
Okay,
sure.
so what's your specific belief around Jesus?
Around Jesus? I
Like, are you Trinitarian or?
Yes. Trinitarian, absolutely. He was God in the flesh.
Okay. So my question is, do you believe, like, for example, you have the cross on your chest.
Yes, sir.
What do you think the cross, or what do you believe the cross symbolizes for yourself?
The cross itself?
Yeah.
The cross is a symbol of torture and death, and Jesus overcame that by dying for us. He showed us a way. What they used to do to torture Jews, he suffered for us, and he showed us that he loved us by dying on that, by taking that suffering.
Yeah. So do you believe Jesus the Son is co-equal, co-eternal with the Father, with the Spirit?
Yes.
They're all the same in power, knowledge, and all that?
Yes. Consubstantial. Yes.
All right. So that means Jesus knew everything.
Yes.
Are you familiar with the verse in the Bible where Jesus was asked when was the hour?
I am, yes.
So, is that an acorn?
Yeah, that was an acorn. I saw that too, and I saw you flinch.
What's the name? Yeah, so the man comes to Jesus,
Yes.
and he asks Jesus, when is the hour? And Jesus says, of that day and hour, no one knows,
Except the Father.
not the angels in heaven, nor the Son, so he negates himself,
Yes.
only the Father.
Yes. So if you read that verse in the Greek, it actually means, when it says it, the meaning of I don't know is actually for it more similar means it's not for me to tell you. It's not for me to know. It's for the Father to tell you, for him to present. It's as if it's like I know what my dad's doing at this certain hour, but it's not my business to tell you what he's doing or what he's gonna do. It's his business to tell you.
In the Greek.
In the Greek, yes.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I am.
Well, let me tell you this. If that were true,
Yes.
would that then show a difference in meaning between the original Greek and what is read today in English?
It's not necessarily different, but because you would agree with me that translations cannot always be perfect. It's impossible.
Not necessarily perfect, but
It can be better, right?
There can be differences, for example, great and strong, for example. Maybe like in translation, that's different.
Yeah.
But if you were to tell me that, no, the original says that it's not of Jesus' power, and the translation says Jesus didn't know, that's two different meanings. Do you not agree?
I agree. Some translations can definitely be better. Translations have obviously improved as time has progressed, as we've gotten more familiar with ancient languages. Just like even the Latin version of the Bible, the very first one written by Saint Jerome, it's not perfect, even though it's the same one that the church still uses today. But it can be upgraded. It can be.
But you see what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like if the original had a meaning like that, and the translated version has a different meaning, not only like slight translation or error. If that's what it says in the Greek, do you not see that as an issue?
I do, and I do think it should be better. But we can only do.
Like, my point is, how would we, as the English speakers, how would we know that this is what, for example, Jesus meant? You understand?
Right.
And in turn, how would you trust a source that could have maybe some, whether it's intentional or not intentional, maybe defections in it?
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, as humans, we can only do so much as we possibly can to really do that. I mean, if we're trying to translate any book, it's always going to have some kind of error, regardless. And I see where you're coming from, where it's like, if it's a religious text and that's where you're basing your beliefs on, that's a problem, that's an issue, and I agree. But that's where I believe we have to kind of take it with a little bit of faith, and we have to do our best as humans to really try to read that.
I want to tell you one more thing, and then I'll explain to you who I am. So, you agree that Jesus and the Father are equal in every way, shape, and form.
Every way, shape, and form.
Co-equal, co-eternal. What the doctrine of the Trinity says.
Yes.
Then why does Jesus say the Father is greater than I?
So that would have to come down to the actual interactions between the Trinity.
Okay.
So there's these two ideas of the Trinity. Yes, co-eternal, co-equal, consubstantial. Yes. But there are different roles that each individual person of the Trinity plays.
Okay.
So for example, when I say that the Father is not the Son, but yet they are both God, that's because they don't do the same things. They are not exactly there for the purpose of doing the same thing. Otherwise, you'd just be a singular person and a singular
Yeah.
God. But that's not what we believe. We believe in three co-eternal persons in one God.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to tell me we believe in Jesus is an entity, he has a role. Father is a different entity, he has a role. I would say, okay, I don't really have a problem with that. But the problem comes when the doctrine says co-equal. When they're no, like when you tell me that no, they're the same, but they're not. It's as if you're saying, this is a square, this is a circle, but they're squared circle.
Yeah.
It's a contradiction.
That would be a contradiction.
Like
yes.
like even if you were to take away all the jargon of the Trinity, Jesus saying the Father is greater than I. In any way you want to understand it, whether it's role, whether it's in capacity, strength, of intelligence, whatever it may be, the fact that Jesus said that no, the Father is greater, this destroys the idea that there is a co-equality of them.
Not necessarily, because when you look at the context of it, when he was here on earth, would you agree that God is greater than man?
Of course.
We would agree. Right. So if I believe that he became man, he came down to our level. God came down to our level for us. Now, I know you probably don't believe that because God would never do that. But in my belief, he came
Wait, why would God never do that?
Huh?
Why would God never do that?
Well, in your belief, I assume, I'm just going to go right off the bat. You're a Muslim, correct?
Why do you assume that?
Because you believe God would never come down to our thing. And I know I've had these interactions.
No, but not only Muslim would believe that.
Jew would also would believe
like brother Roman.
Yes.
Roman. Imagine if I told you God can become ignorant. Let me tell you this. Your name is Roman.
Yes.
You were born 2002.
2005. For sure.
2005?
Yeah.
Oh my
I'm
God.
young, man.
What the heck? All right, 2005. Man, you're almost my brother's age. Listen, bro. What if I told you this? God created you, right?
Yes.
God knows you better than your mom knows you.
Better than I know me.
Better than you know yourself. Imagine if I told you one day in the future or in the past, God will become ignorant of your name and your date of birth. What would you tell me?
Impossible.
Impossible. Why? Because
He's all knowing.
it goes against his nature of being all-knowing. And that's easy to understand. Similarly, I would tell you the idea that God, the all-powerful, the creator, all these names that we know of God, became man. This is as equal as me telling you God became ignorant. Do you see?
I don't think I can agree with you on that.
Why?
Because that would be... Do you agree that God could, in any way, shape, or form, manifest himself in the present moment? Like, if God were to come right now and just say, and he were to do something, would we recognize that as divine? Do you think he could do that?
I believe we can see the effects of what God command. Yeah, like for example, like if God wanted to, for example, destroy a nation.
Okay.
And he sent an earthquake. Yeah. Of course I can believe that. Because God, for example, I know God can do this thing. Because it doesn't go against his nature. But if you were to tell me, no brother, God came down and he became limited, I would say, this goes against the idea of God being infinite or never not being limited.
Now, here's the thing.
You feel me?
God did not become limited in his capacity as man.
Okay.
The person of Jesus became limited. Not limited. The person of Jesus, or the person of the Son, I should say, became man. He's not limited in any way, shape, or form. He simply, as a human, decided to become like us.
But Jesus, you're saying Jesus was not limited?
No, Jesus is not limited necessarily.
Did Jesus know what was on the fig tree?
Yes.
He knew what was on the fig tree.
Yes, I know it. Yeah.
No, he didn't know what was on the fig tree.
He did.
He came to the fig tree and he cursed it.
Yes.
Why? Because he thought there was figs, but it wasn't the season for figs.
Right. That's
So-
also another translation error that we should probably...
No, he came to the tree. He wanted fig, right? When he came to the tree, he noticed that it was out of season, and he cursed the tree. If Jesus knew everything, he would know that the figs are not there.
Fig tree, right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Not only this, bro. There's so, like, for example, Jesus himself being constrained by a disbelieving people was put on a cross and killed. Isn't that the epitome of limited and weak?
Not necessarily, because God didn't die. Jesus, as the man himself.
Yeah, but we're talking about Jesus right now.
Yes.
So doesn't that show that Jesus was limited? If he was unlimited in capacity, no one will be able to touch him.
You have to kind of make the distinction between man and God at that point.
Okay, what is the distinction? Go ahead.
So the man died. Jesus, as a man, he was like you and me, flesh and bones. Yes.
So
But he is also the person of the Son in the Trinity.
yeah. Okay. So
God
now
did
you're saying basically a contradiction. You're saying that the square can be a circle. You're saying that Jesus was flesh and at the same time God.
Yes.
Can God ever be flesh?
If he so chooses, I believe God can do whatever he'd like.
Can God?
But within logic.
Like
within logic.
it's like a paradox of this Roman. Try to understand what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Can God ever create something so heavy he couldn't carry it?
No, because that would be a contradiction.
It would be paradox.
Correct.
Right? Because it goes against the nature of God himself.
Right, you would be limiting him to gravity, which causes that to push down.
Whatever issue you'd be limiting his strength and his capacity of creating. It's a paradox.
Right.
It's like saying a squared circle. It's a paradox.
Correct.
Similarly, God, the unlimited, cannot be flesh. Because flesh is limited, bro. It's a paradox itself.
So then that would be like saying God could not manifest himself if he so chooses in his own creation. So you would be limited.
However you want to word it, if God will not do something that goes against his nature, because it's against the nature of God. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
It's like saying that, like the example I gave you. Can God ever be ignorant of your name? Never.
No.
That's the same thing with how the Christian is saying about what he's saying about Jesus. You see what I'm saying? Even what if I were to grant everything to you, right? Mm-hmm. I grant everything to you, all your points. Wearing the cross. This is the sign of the sign of Jesus dying. Like Jesus, according to the scripture or the historical account of the Bible. By the way, written by people that we don't really know who they are. It's according to John, according to Mark, according to Luke. How many Mark, Luke, and John were there at the time? We didn't even know last names. We don't know nothing.
True.
That this man, Jesus, was not only, he was tortured, he was nailed, he was humiliated, the thorn on his head. This is humiliation.
It is.
Like if I were to, like, you're right, I am Muslim. I am Muslim, alhamdulillah. And we love Jesus.
Yes.
We believe Jesus is a prophet.
Yes.
We would never wear a cross because we would be like, imagine if your dad, hopefully this never happens to your dad, someone comes and someone stabs your dad with a sword, 12-inch blade.
Right.
And then you say, okay, out of my love for my dad, I'm gonna wear a sword to remember his death. No, you would hate that sword. Right. You'd be like, this is what killed my dad. I would never wear it.
Sure.
I don't want to see anyone wear it. You're disrespecting my dad.
Sure.
The idea of the cross itself is disrespectful to Jesus. If it were true, what happened to him?
I don't necessarily think it's disrespectful, because if Jesus had just died and we didn't believe that he just came back from the dead, I would look at it as, yes, disrespect. It would be disrespectful because it happened to so many Jews at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
it's a humiliation.
I guess you could say it's almost like
the Jews before, they believed that the reason why the Jewish people wanted Jesus to die on the cross is because in their belief, whoever dies by cross is damned by God, and he cannot be the Messiah.
Right.
So if Jesus died on the cross, he cannot be Messiah according to their belief.
According to their belief.
But that's why this is when Islam comes into play. Islam gives a record of history that makes everything make sense. Like, I'll explain to you why. We believe Jesus is a mighty prophet.
Yes.
Like, we believe that he did miracles according to God's will and power. He came to tell the people to worship one God, like how all the prophets did.
Right.
And we believe, not only that, we believe Jesus was the Messiah.
Yes.
We believe in that as well. But then you ask me, how can you believe he's the Messiah and he also died on the cross? Because the Jews, they said that whoever dies on the cross, he's not Messiah.
Yes.
This person is a damned person by God. It's a humiliation.
It's humiliation.
The Islamic accord is that Jesus didn't die on the cross.
Yeah.
That Allah means God.
Yes.
Even, by the way, Jesus, you know,
yeah.
You know Allah, what God is in Aramaic?
It is.
It's Allah.
Yeah.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
So Jesus, when he would call the Father, he would say Allah. Isn't that interesting?
Yes. Abba.
What was I saying? That, yeah, so we believe he's the Messiah. We believe that God raised him. He protected him from the crucifixion, actually.
Yes.
And it was made to appear to those people that he was crucified.
So then you're saying that God deceived people.
God didn't deceive the people. Listen, like, we believe God does things to a people after those people chose a route. For example, in the Quran, God says, excuse me, وإذ قال أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإذ قال موسى لقومه يا قوم لم تؤذونني وقد تعلمون أني رسول الله إليكم. Paraphrasing, ولما زاغوا أزاغ الله قلوبهم. Moses told his people, oh my people, why are you fighting me when you know I'm a prophet of God? Then God says, when those people, when they shifted and they became disobedient, then God kept them on their disobedience.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
We don't believe God unjustly does things.
Correct.
Unless the people do it first.
Okay.
So the reason why God did that, Allahu A'lam, we don't know exactly why God does what He does. The wisdoms is in God's hand. Like we have, like what Hamza Zorta says. He says we have the pixel, God has the picture. You understand? So whatever the reason was, it was made to appear to the people that Jesus died. But that's why now that when the Quran came, Allah explained to the people what happened. Even, by the way, the crucifixion itself is debated. Like, for example, there's a Gospel of Barnabas. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
That we can prove came from the 3rd, 2nd century.
No, actually not. There are early Christians there were sects that didn't believe Jesus died on the cross. There were Christians that believed this in early church history.
Those were the agnostics, and that was debated fiercely in multiple.
Whether it was debated and whether they were proved wrong by later Christians, you can't say that there weren't Christians that believed that. Do you see what I'm saying?
I can say they weren't Christians by our definition because they
of course.
specifically believed against the certain doctrines.
No, I mean,
that makes Christianity.
These were doctrines later introduced. Like, what would you tell the Christians?
They were later defined.
No. What would you tell the Christians that were living with Jesus about the Nicene Creed, for example?
Yeah, so the Nicene Creed is really just a summary of our beliefs. It's how we go about. Obviously, it had to develop because it's not like you're just going to be there and be like.
My friend, the first 3 generations Roman,
Sure.
Trinitarians were a minority. Who were?
Nobody could really define the Trinity at those first 3 generations until the Council of Nicaea.
Yeah, because it was man-made. It wasn't.
No, it's not necessarily that it was man-made. It's that it's. Would you agree that it's hard to put a definition on something when it's like brand new? Like for example,
that's my point. It's new. It was innovated into the religion.
Not innovated. It was defined.
No. Listen, Roman. The first 3 generations, the Nicene Creed itself. Who attended it? The Arians, the semi-Arians, and the Trinitarians, right?
Yes.
Who were the Arians? They were subordinists. They believed that Jesus was subordinate to the Father.
Yes.
And not only that, the majority of people of the Creed, the majority of them were Arians. The Nicene Creed only was established because Constantine enforced it on the people at the council. This is history. Like you can go home and research this. This is not my opinion.
I have.
Yeah, you know this. Constantine enforced it upon the bishops there, and anyone that rejected it was exiled. 2 or 3 bishops were exiled
because they refused.
They refused to sign it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But do you understand? Do you now see how? Do you know how many bishops were at the Council of Nicaea?
Like 219 or something.
So
like
why
that.
were only 3 exiled? Because they didn't agree.
Because all the rest were scared to say no.
Not just that, but because most of the other bishops agreed, and that was actually the Bishop of Rome, which is why I'm a Catholic. I just believe in the Bishop of Rome having supremacy over the other bishops. But that's a whole other thing. But because he backed that belief in the Trinity, most of the other ones went along with it. They also believed that the Trinity was true because... That's
not true, bro. Even after the Nicene Creed, people were debating this. People were debating this issue. Even 30 years later, at the Council of Constantinople. What happened at the Council of Constantinople?
You had the East and West split.
No, I forgot what happened exactly. But they were still debating this issue. This was not a set in stone. Every single Christian in the world believes this belief now. No.
But that's why we had the councils.
Yeah. Okay. I want to go back to the idea of the Trinity.
Okay.
We explained that God cannot be man because it's as if God's saying that He forgot your name. Would you understand that? Would you agree with that statement?
I would just disagree on the basis that I think you're comparing two different things.
Why?
So to say that God, obviously you can't make a square circle because they are defined as two separate things.
Yes.
Right? To say God can't be man is like saying God cannot, in any way, shape, or form, interact within his own creation.
No, I'm not saying that. Like, I'll give you the example of the earthquake. What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
That's God
I
interacting with the creation.
Correct. So
God giving revelation through prophets. That's interacting.
That's interaction.
Yeah.
So I would say that why could God, at least not even a person of the Trinity, become man? He would then just be within his own creation.
That's that's a contradiction, bro. You listen, Roman. You see what I'm saying? You're not dumb. You see. You're smart. You wear glasses. You feel me? God becoming man is like God forgetting your name. Do you see the equality of that statement? God becoming man means God is becoming weak. Is man weak?
Man is weak.
Man dies.
Yes.
He gets hungry.
Yeah.
Uses bathroom.
Yep.
God can God ever have any of these qualities?
God as the eternal creator? Absolutely not.
That's your answer, bro. That's your answer. I want to give you something more concise than this belief. I respect, or I can appreciate how people were raised. I can appreciate this. People were raised, and then you have to find truth. You have to explore. You have to understand. No, I appreciate this. I want to give you something clear, concise, more palatable for the brain and the soul. The idea of Islam is that there's one creator that created everything, and he sent prophets and messengers to people with a message to worship one God.
Yep.
Don't worship trees, don't kill people, don't rape people. And that there's one God, there is nothing like this God. You cannot, anything you imagine, this is not God. This is the Islamic idea of God. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ, a chapter in the Quran. Say God is one. Allahu Samad. God is the most supreme independent. لم يلد ولم يولد. He was not born, nor does he give birth. ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. And there is nothing in creation like God. Isn't that such a clear definition of what God is? No, there's no debate of Trinity or what is it called? A bitarian or a Unitarian or you know what I mean? It's just a simple understanding that there's one creator. He created everything. He's not a white man with a beard in clouds. He's not a black man in a beard with clouds. He's not a man. He's the creator.
Yes.
Isn't that much more clear, concise? And that this God sent messengers. Moses, Jesus, Noah, Abraham. We believe in all these prophets. The final prophet, the Prophet Muhammad, we believe in the final prophet that came, which is prophesied in the Bible actually. Like if you see in Isaiah chapter 42, verse 12, this is a clear prophecy of a person to come with a new law in Arabia. I don't know if you ever researched this topic.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's not convincing to me.
Why
personally.
not?
Because the translation of it doesn't necessarily say Arabia. And even if it does, it doesn't necessarily mean Muhammad.
I'll tell you like this. The verse says that there will be a new person to come with a fiery law, a new law, and he will have power in that land. Not only that, he will come to a specific people or a place of Kedar. As you know, Kedar was a child of Ismail, which is the Arabians. The Arabians, there is a
split between Ishmael and Abraham. So
I'm saying the Arabians at the time of the Prophet, they had a art. They would memorize their lineage.
Okay.
Like it's something normal. Like I would say, "What's your name?" You would say, "My name is Roman, son of," and you would go back 15 generations. Like this is something that people did back in the day. And the Arabs, they would count their father back to Abraham through Ismail through Kedar. And we all know Kedar landed or had his children in the Arabian Peninsula where the Prophet was, the Prophet Muhammad. Not only that, he will be near a mount called Sila. Mount Sila, are you familiar did you do some research on this?
I'm not familiar with
Mount Sila is a mountain in the city of Medina, which is where the Prophet lived for 13 years. So, if you were to say that it's not convincing to me, I don't think it's the Prophet Muhammad, I would say, give me another person that claimed to be a prophet in Arabia, near Mecca and Medina, that had a law that people followed and all this.
Personally, I would have to research that
Yeah, you can do
verse.
You can do research, yeah. no problem. But yeah, this is the message of Islam, and that we believe that all the prophets were Muslims. What does a Muslim mean?
It means submission to God.
I mean-
I would say at that point I'm also a Muslim because
Yeah.
I want to submit to God.
Exactly, bro. A Muslim is submissive to God.
Absolutely.
You're a lot more knowledgeable than I thought you were.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I mean, like about Islam and about all these things. Like, Muslim means submitter.
Yeah.
Like Jesus, what did Jesus do when he was in the garden?
He prostrated.
And what did he say to God? Take this cup of misery away from me. What was the cup of misery?
His death.
It was a crucifixion. That means Jesus did not want to die.
No, of course not.
But if Jesus was co-equal with the Father, he would have the same will as the Father. He would be on the same page. You understand?
That's where we get into the difference between man and God.
Okay, well, go ahead.
So obviously, we know man does not want to die. We don't want to die.
Of course.
You nor I don't
course.
want to get crucified ever. So obviously, Jesus had human emotions. He got hungry. He ate. He had respect for his mom. He cried for his friends. So that's Jesus as a man, because he is true man. But he is also true God. So he knew that he had to go through with this, which is why.
I'll ask you
he was
this
able
then.
to go.
If he's true man and true God, give me percentages. I want to know what's the percentages.
You can't really put a percentage on that.
Like in your idea right now, your Roman brain. When you think about Jesus, do you think like 50-50? Do you think like 75-25?
He is 100% God, 100% man. And
Okay.
I know that doesn't add up, but that's like trying to quantify God. Can we quantify God?
No,
Absolutely.
no, we can't quantify God, but we can understand who God is. Like if you were to tell me who's God, I say, okay, God is the most merciful. He's the creator. He's the all knowledgeable. But when you come and tell me, no, explain everything about, I don't know everything about God.
Right.
But clear things about His nature, we all know. If we see a man today, imagine if we were at the time of Jesus, we saw Jesus, the man of Nazareth. By the way, the Palestinian man. Jesus was Palestinian. He was born in Nazareth.
Yes.
I would be like, in your brain, you would say like, this is not God, this is a man. He's a prophet of God. I respect him, I follow him, but no way this is God. Your human brain would not accept it.
Right.
You understand? That's why I'm saying, when he was in the garden, what did he say? He said, take this cup of misery away from me. But if it doesn't, what? What did he say? I go by your will, not mine. We say anyone that says, I go by God's will, not my will, he's a Muslim. He's submitting to God's will.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? In that context, Jesus was a Muslim.
Absolutely.
The Prophet Moses was a Muslim. He submitted to God. Prophet Abraham was a Muslim. Who did Prophet Abraham worship?
God.
What's God? Who's God?
Yahweh, the one true.
Did he worship Jesus?
Not Jesus the man, no. He worshipped God. He worshipped the Son, the
But
Father.
Jesus wasn't in history right now. He wasn't created yet.
Right, he wasn't man yet. The Son did not become man.
Yeah, but when I'm saying, when Abraham worshipped God, did he worship God, Jesus on the right side of God, Holy Spirit? Or did he worship one Allah, one God?
One true God.
Okay, we're on the same page.
Yes.
Moses, he worshipped Allah, one God.
Absolutely.
Jesus, who did he worship?
Jesus the man was God and he worshipped the Father. He worships God.
Jesus, when he called, who did he call?
The Father.
What did he say? Did he say Father?
Yeah.
Or did he say Allah?
He said God. God, Father. The Father is God. So.
But he didn't speak English.
No.
What did he say?
He said Allah.
He said Allah.
God.
So did he call upon himself?
No, he called upon his Father.
Okay,
God.
if Jesus was God, how can God worship another God?
God isn't worshiping another
Or
God.
call upon another God?
This is where I think you're kind of missing the difference between man and God.
No, bro, I understand it, bro. But, okay, I'll give you a chance right now. Explain to me how Jesus is in relation to the Father. Go ahead.
Jesus, the man.
Jesus, the Son, the man, how is he in relation to the Father?
The man is subservient to God at all times. All men are subservient to God.
So you're a subordinate.
To God, yes.
No, so you're a subordinist, sorry. So you believe Jesus was subordinate to the Father?
No. Jesus, the man,
Yes.
as man,
Yes.
is subordinate to God, as all men should be.
But this belief is a heretical belief in the Christian church.
But it would be heretical to say that the Son, God the Son, is subordinate to God the Father.
Okay, but this idea that Jesus, the man form, is different from the divine form, bro, this is all philosophy created by the late church fathers. This is not, show me this in the Bible, please.
Okay, so, I mean, we could actually kind of sit here and look at the verses.
Yeah, go
where
ahead.
God, Are you familiar with Timothy when he comes up to Jesus and he says, my God, my God? Why is he talking to Jesus when he says that?
I mean, a lot of people were called God in the Bible. God was just a term of endearment or a term of respect.
So when
it doesn't mean he worshipped him. You know that.
So
I'll tell you this example. When the Jews came to Jesus, they wanted to stone him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
When the Jews came to Jesus and
they wanted to stone him, they said, "You're blaspheming God. You say you're the Son of God."
Yes. Okay.
What did he say to them?
He said, "I am not. You say I am."
Yeah, and then what did he say? He said, "Does it not say in your books that you are sons of God?"
Sons of God.
Yeah, what does that mean?
It was lowercase g in our case, but
listen. This idea of lowercase. This is not in the Greek or the Aramaic.
Sure.
You don't even have the Aramaic. But I'm just saying. This idea was later introduced, bro. You don't even bring that up. Lowercase, uppercase. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we can look at that
because Jesus used the same word. The same word was implemented. You can't pick and choose what this word means in different context. You can't. It's one word.
No, but you can look at the context and derive meaning from that.
Yes. What was the context? The Jews wanted to kill him because they said, "Listen, us Jews, we think that you are blaspheming God, so we will stone you to death." If Jesus was God or part of a triune God, isn't this the best time for him to say, "Yes, I came to the lost sheep of Israel. I am God. I'm the Son of God. I'm part of a triune body. You must worship me and follow." Right? But what did he do instead? He tried to save himself from this accusation, a blaspheme accusation, by saying that, "No, doesn't it say that in your books that you are sons of God?" He's basically trying to save himself. No, I'm saying that I'm just like you.
Yeah.
We're the same.
So you would actually have to look at that in context as well. So just role play with me here.
Go ahead.
If he would have said that, what would the Jews have done to him? They would have stoned him right then and there on spot.
No,
correct?
my friend. If Jesus truly was part of this type of triune figure, then this is the problem. The idea that Jesus was a weak man, like a subservient, you know what I mean? Bro, if he was God, they can't touch him. God, the Father, if he's subordinate to the Father, he would protect him.
Sure. That's actually what Lucifer said to Jesus on the mountain. He said, "Just fall off and the angel should protect you." Which, true.
What did he say?
He said, "It's true, but get behind me, Satan. My time has not come yet."
He said, "Yeah, but I don't tempt." He said, "Don't tempt the Father," or something like this.
You shall not test your God.
Yeah.
So, should we ever test God? Absolutely not.
Of course not.
I believe that. So, in that same situation, if Jesus was there and he would have just came out and said, "I am God," what would they have done? They would have stoned him, and he would have died prematurely.
Bro, this is turning from real life to mythology. How can they kill God?
You can't kill God. You can kill the man.
They killed God, bro.
You killed the man.
How can Jesus be God and man 100%? Please explain that to me.
I can't explain that to you. Because just how you can't explain all the nature of God, I can't explain all the nature.
No, I can't explain the whole nature of God. But the general idea of who God is, we can understand, bro.
Yes.
God says he is one. Even in the Old Testament. Hear, O Israel, your Lord, the God is?
One.
One. Is it 1 in 3? Is it 3 in 1? Is it 1/3? No, it's one.
Yes.
The idea of the Trinity, bro, you have to understand, brother. Since the beginning of creation, from Adam, all the way till Jesus, everyone was worshiping one God.
Absolutely.
The people, the Muslimin, the people that were on the correct path.
Sure.
The Muslims, the submitters. So you're telling me all of this, God was consistent in his message, and then when Jesus was written to come to earth, God shifted his message and said, actually, this is a different story now. There's a Trinity. You have to believe that Jesus died for your sins. If I were to tell you this, Robin, what if I told you you were born in an island? No civilization, no upbringing by parents, nothing. Do you think you would naturally come to an idea or realization that there's one creator that created me? Or would you come to the realization that, oh, there's a person called Jesus, he died for my sins, he's part of a triune head, Father, Son, Holy... What would come to you naturally?
I'm sure I'd come to the belief that there's either a creator or that somehow I got here, or I'd be an atheist. It's one of the two. I really couldn't tell you.
Yeah, but you would come to this abstract philosophical idea of persons and do you see what I mean?
Absolutely not.
That's why I'm telling you, God created something in all of us called the fitrah. It's called like the innate disposition.
Right.
That you're born, you're created knowing that something created you, that there's something bigger than this.
Right.
The idea of the Trinity is something, even when you, like I speak to 100 Christians, every single Christian will give me a different definition of the Trinity.
Most people are ignorant of their own faith.
No, bro. Bro, even learned people. I swear to God, I spoke to 2 priests, bro. They all give me different definitions of the Trinity. They didn't even explain it to how the doctrine is written. Everyone takes it and they formulate it to how it makes sense in their brain, and then they say it.
Yeah, but that's I think the issue is we try to. A lot of people do make the mistake. That's why I'm being really, really vague with you. I can't explain to you how the Trinity works because I'm not God. I can't explain to you how God works.
Would you say it's confusing?
Absolutely, God is confusing.
No, brother. You're going against one verse of the Old Testament. God is not the author of confusion.
No, he's not.
but
then at that point, wouldn't it actually confuse you? Wouldn't it confuse you as to why he confused so many people into believing that Jesus didn't actually die?
No, brother, listen to me. I'll explain this to you. The Old Testament says God is not the author of confusion. God will not confuse the people. The Quran is mubin. It's clear.
I agree.
God says, you agree the Quran is clear?
Pretty much.
You read the Quran?
I've read parts of it, and it doesn't leave a whole lot of ambiguity.
Yeah.
But I don't agree with everything in it.
Okay.
Just because
Let's go on this. Since you read the Quran, what do you not agree with it on?
I don't agree with this historical take
of
on
what?
Jesus specifically.
Listen, the historical account of Jesus about what, of him dying,
Of him dying, of what happened to him before and after.
Well, I want you to show me now, for example, using extra biblical or even biblical texts that prove 100% that Jesus died. Go ahead.
100%.
Yeah, show me where he died.
We have the 4 Gospels itself.
Okay. 4 Gospels.
Yes.
When were they written?
So we believe, and written, like as in
When were they formulated and written? Yes.
penned down, we can probably say closer to the end of the 1st century. Mark
Okay.
was probably the oldest, but we're not exactly sure.
So the earliest account they say is between 70 and 100 years after Jesus, or AD.
Yeah.
So, not only that, what's the earliest manuscript? What language is it in?
The earliest manuscript, I want to say it's in Aramaic or Greek. I'm not exactly sure on that.
It's not in Aramaic, it's in Greek.
It's in Greek? Okay.
What language did Jesus speak?
He spoke Aramaic.
So, not only did the earliest manuscripts come 50 to 60 years after Jesus, not only that,
Right.
it was written in a language that Jesus did not speak. And that's the earliest
And you
manuscript.
can't say that Jesus didn't speak Greek. He did live in a Greek-speaking world.
No, he lived in a Greek-speaking world where less than 10% of the population was learned anyways. And not only that, the Jewish communities were known to be poor fishermen and farmers, and they would only the learned would learn Greek. The Jews were known to, they would only speak their local language, and if they were speaking Hebrew, they would speak Hebrew.
Right.
Greek was, even now, atheistic Christian scholars, they would tell you that no, Jesus did not speak Greek.
Not necessarily, because they did have to interact in the Greek world. And I mean, that's a whole debate, but...
I'm telling you now, the majority of Christian scholars, not only atheistic, even atheistic, like for example, Bart Ehrman, they say these Jesus spoke Aramaic.
He did.
My point is not only that, it was the earliest text is 50 to 60 years after Jesus. It's not even in the original mother tongue. Not only that, we don't even know who the authors are, bro. Who is the author, Mark?
We say it's according to Mark. So
Yeah. Explain to us, explain to the viewers, what is according to Mark?
So
who wrote that down?
we believe that Mark was a disciple of Peter.
Okay.
Who Peter, we believe in the Christian tradition, as to be the first pope, who was the closest to Jesus, who Jesus basically named the prince of the apostles. He was the head. He was the leader of that group of people.
Yeah.
So it's his disciple, Mark,
Yeah.
who wrote it down.
No,
How is
not
it?
Mark. It's according to Mark.
Yeah, that's what according.
Yeah.
That's how he wrote it down. How he interpreted.
No. I don't think you understand what it means. According to Mark, that doesn't mean Mark wrote it.
No, it means how he told it.
Yeah, but who wrote it?
It could have been Mark. It could have been even somebody like.
No.
You know back then that they had scribes write stuff down for them.
No, but the gospel itself.
Mhm.
According to Mark, according to Luke, according to Matthew.
Yes.
Mark, Matthew, Luke didn't write these books.
Probably Luke could have. And then,
No, but Roman. I'm saying that the books that the Christians rely on, not only is it later than Jesus, not only is it not in the mother tongue of Jesus, not only that, you don't even know who wrote the book. 100%.
sure.
Would you agree with that? Not 100%, right?
Sure.
There's so much ambiguity in this history that how can you come and tell me this is salvation 100%? We got it right.
You're right. There's gonna be some human error in all of this. But then I could just point the question back on you and not to attack
Go
you
ahead.
at all.
No, go.
But if you're gonna tell me that history is wrong, how are you gonna tell me that a book that came 600 years later in the Quran is gonna be actually accurate? More accurate than even these manuscripts that were, yes, 60, 70 years after Jesus. But how are you gonna tell me that the Quran got it right after 600 to 700 years after?
I'll tell you why. First of all, you have to understand the idea of prophets. We believe that God sent prophets to their people for a specific time.
Yes.
So Moses he was sent to the Israelites.
Yep.
He wasn't sent to the Chinese people.
Absolutely not.
Jesus was sent to the lost sheep of Israel.
Yep.
Only the Israelites, not the Gentiles, by the way, which is not you, by the way.
Yeah.
We believe that there are prophets sent for specific times and localities. The Prophet Muhammad now was sent as the final prophet of God to mankind. Not only that, he wasn't sent only to the Arabs. He was sent to all of humankind.
Okay.
So then you have to understand the text in that form. We say that the reason that God allowed, because we believe the Injil, which was the original text that God sent to Jesus.
The original gospel.
The original, yes.
Okay.
It's called the Injil.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the gospel. It's not the Bible that we have today.
No. What y'all believe to be the original.
The original text that God sent to Jesus would have been sent because we believe God sends the scripture in the tongue of the prophet, the language he spoke.
Mm-hmm.
So this text would have theoretically been in Aramaic, which is lost today. And we believe that book, and the reason why God allowed this book and the Torah, which was sent to Moses, to be corrupted by the humans, is because that God didn't want this book to go on forever. Because it wasn't meant for everyone. It was meant for those people. Do you understand?
Right.
So now you have to understand, okay, the Quran was sent with the Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet Muhammad is sent for all of humankind. That means the Quran is for all of humankind. Not only for that period of time, for the rest till the end of the days. Okay, now we understand that. The reason why the Quran is 100% the same as the prophets recited it is because the Quran was not mainly transmitted through writing. The main source of transmission was oral, by memory.
By memory.
The Prophet learned the Quran from the angel Gabriel, which was sent from God, Allah. Allah sends to the angel, then the angel teaches the Prophet Muhammad, ﷺ, means may peace and blessings be upon him. Then the Prophet teaches his companions through memory. Like even today, we have maybe 10 to 20 million Muslims, they memorize the Quran, over 600 pages of Arabic.
Right.
So this is something known. Then the companions, they teach until today. Like for example, I can bring you someone that memorized the whole Quran. Not only that, he knows his teachers, the person that taught him, his teacher, all the way to the Prophet Muhammad. It's called isnad. It's called chain of narration. So that's the main way that the Quran was preserved. But not only that, the Quran was written during the time of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ.
Yeah.
There's a Quran that's in the museum in London. It's called the Birmingham Quran. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yes, the oldest.
It's the oldest, and that one and the Sana'a Quran. It's carbon dated to the time of the Prophet himself living.
Right.
So the Quran has not changed. You can literally see this Quran from the time of the Prophet till today. You can open it and compare. It's the same Quran.
Yeah.
So alhamdulillah, thank God, we don't have, as Muslims, we don't have this issue of different manuscripts, different languages.
Translation errors.
No, we don't have nothing because we have the book in the mother tongue itself. See? So that's my answer to you. How when you said I can flip it, this is my answer for you. What do you think?
So you're basically basing your belief off of that. It's been preserved for so long that we don't have any issues. Therefore, because it is the most clear and it is the most preserved out of any of the texts, that we should believe it over the other two.
It's not the main reason why you should believe it, because it's not unfathomable for a book to be the same.
Right.
Like there are some books that have been the same for. This is not the main reason. This is obviously a very strong evidence. Mm-hmm. This is something that we use. Like it's something that people became Muslim because of this idea. There are people that see the issue with the Bible, that it's not reliable at all. Not only that, there's so many errors, historical, numerical contradictions in the Bible. I can bring you so many. I can bring you so many.
No, I agree, but there's
so many. And not only that, there's over 1,000 different manuscripts.
Yes.
Of original documents.
Not original. That's why they're manuscripts.
Yeah, the earliest manuscripts.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about, like, we don't have nothing before this, but these are the same, but they're different. You see what I mean? There are people that saw the issue and it didn't sit well in their hearts, and they saw how the Quran was preserved and they became Muslim. So this is a big evidence. But the bigger evidence is what the Quran says itself. That's the biggest evidence. There are miracles in the Quran. Mm-hmm. The Quran itself is a miracle. The prophets came to their people, localities at certain times, with evidences.
Yeah.
Moses split the sea. And the people, they saw, okay, well, now we believe he's a prophet. Yeah. All right? Jesus cured the blind. Mm-hmm. He raised the dead with God's permission. Yeah. The people were, okay, now this is a sign that we believe more that he's a prophet of God. If the Quran was sent for all of humankind after the prophet dies, how can we see the miracle? Because the prophet didn't do miracles. He split the moon. We believe this happened. Okay. So many miracles the prophet
did. And I've read
did.
that was actually debated among other scholars as well, but that's a whole separate story.
Among who? Which scholars? Muslim scholars or what?
No, so I've seen people say that some say that he either split the moon, some say that he didn't, some say that manuscripts did, and of course that's just me.
Muslim scholars or?
No, other scholars, outside scholars.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we say 100% this happened, not only according to the Quran, because it's in the Quran. Okay. In the Quran, God says, the day of judgment is coming near, and the moon has been split. Okay. This is in the Quran. Okay. But not only that, we have eyewitness records of people in Mecca, in a city where it happened. They saw the moon split. People in the same time in Medina, in a different city, saw the moon split. There was a person in India, imagine. In India, he saw the moon split, and when he heard that the Prophet did this as a miracle, he became Muslim because he saw it. And there's a mosque in India right now that was built based off of this person that became Muslim. Till today. So that's a different story.
Right.
So what was I saying? That the Prophet did miracles that people saw, but how can we know he's a prophet? Right. The Quran is the miracle. We can analyze the Quran now. We can read it, we can see what's inside of it, and we can see that this is a miracle from God or not. For example, there is geographical miracles in the Quran. Things that the Prophet would have never knew. For a Bedouin man in the desert that couldn't read or write. There is the development of the human embryo. The stages of the development of the human embryo described in the Quran. How the Earth and the universe, these planetary bodies have orbits in the Quran. How the universe is expanding in the Quran. All of this is in the Quran. There's so many miracles and arguments from the Quran, within the Quran, that you, someone living in the 21st century, can read and say, I believe that this came from God. You see?
I've read some of those claims, and some of them I just can't really agree with. Like, for example, there's one where it says that semen production is made. We know where it's made now, but it says that it was made somewhere in the back or the rib. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. And
between the backbone, the tailbone, and the ribs.
Between the back, right?
I believe it's on. No, that was proven scientifically. Let me show you now.
Sure. If you don't mind, what time is it?
11:50.
Ooh, okay.
You gotta leave, huh?
Yeah, I gotta.
Well, let me get you my number.
Yeah, of course.
And I'll send it to you later.
Sure.
But I will send it to you.
Sure.
Okay, bro? Yeah. Besides that, what else do you need?
No, that was just my curiosity. I remember reading.
No. You can go home and research it. The thing is, honestly, answer me. When you read these things, were you reading them off of Christian websites?
No, I try to get my things from both Christian websites, atheistic websites are sometimes the best because they really don't care. They just want to.
You think they don't care, but they have their own agenda they push.
Most of it's like
atheists, like an atheist. There's no person without a God. Who do the atheists worship? They worship themselves, or they're liberals. They worship liberalism.
Yep.
So, this idea that atheists are, they're unbiased. I don't buy into it. But I'll send you when I research it tonight. I'll send you some evidence on that. But do you have a Quran?
I don't.
So I have English translation, bro, for you.
Okay.
The gifts from me to you.
All right.
It's in the English. It's English, so for brothers like yourself, clear Quran. It's not in old English. It's today English, so you can understand it. And this is a gift from me to you, bro.
All right, man.
And I wanted. So just last closing statements.
Yeah.
Okay.
The idea of Islam: one God. Worship Him, the one that created you, the one that created you, your mother, your father, the one that created the trees, the one that sent prophets. This is the one that we're saying worship. In the Quran, there's a verse that God says. This verse is when God speaks to Jesus on the Day of Judgment. You know the Day of Judgment.
Yes.
God will speak to Jesus. He will ask Jesus, "Did you tell the people to worship or to take you and your mother as gods alongside God?" God will ask Jesus this. Of course, God knows the answer, but this is a scene where God is explaining to us what will happen. And what does Jesus say? This is what Jesus will respond to God on the Day of Judgment. Jesus will say, "How can I say something that I don't have any power to say? And if I were to say it, you would have known that I said it. You know what's in myself, I don't know what's in yourself." This is what Jesus will say on the Day of Judgment. So we're telling you, Brother Roman, go back to who Jesus worshipped, bro. Jesus didn't worship himself. Jesus told the people, worship God. Worship the one God, the one true God. The one true God. What was the verse that he said? What is it, John 17:3?
Yeah, I'm not as good as you. I don't memorize my verses like that, so.
Please, let me, 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus defined eternal life saying, this is eternal life, that they may know you, the only true God, you the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom you have sent. So Jesus is saying that they know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ is saying he's a different person. That you sent, the only true God sent, that you believe in the only true God, and Jesus Christ who you sent. This is the shahada in the Islamic paradigm. To become Muslim, you say, I bear witness that there's no God except God, and that Prophet Muhammad is the final messenger. Jesus is saying that what you need to do, people around Jesus, is you worship in one God and you believe that I am sent by God as a messenger. Do you see the parallel?
Sure.
And that's what we're saying to you, bro. Go back to worshiping one God. Don't worship Jesus. Jesus was a man, bro. He's a prophet of God. We sing, follow him, respect him, love him. We do that. We love Jesus. There's a whole chapter in the Quran called Maryam, named after the mother of Jesus.
After Mary.
You know that.
I love, yeah.
Who's the only people on the earth that will defend Jesus if they make fun of him in a movie? Will the Christians defend him or the Muslims defend him?
Well, both.
Who's the one making the movies about Jesus? On Family Guy and all this.
Typically, either atheists or people who just don't care about their faith. Unbelievers.
Jesus is taken as a joke, whether you believe it or not, by the Christian West.
Sometimes, yeah.
You are a good Christian. I see it in your eyes, bro. You respect Jesus. You love Jesus.
Yeah.
You're a minority, bro. Whether you believe it or not, you're less than 1%.
It's not a good thing, but
Over 99% of Christians, they don't go to church. No. They don't care what Jesus said in the Bible. They don't care about nothing. If Jesus was made fun of in a Muslim country, that would not pass. It's not allowed. It's illegal to make fun of Jesus. Not only that, it's punishable by death in some Muslim countries. You cannot make this. It's a no-no zone.
yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Go back to be a Muslim. Worship. Be a submitter. You submit to God.
Absolutely.
You believe in God. You're a Muslim. You see what I mean?
Sure. By that definition.
Yeah. All you have to do is this homework. Re-understand the idea of God. I want you to really understand, think about the Trinity. Really think about it with yourself. One, and see the Prophet Muhammad in the Bible, the prophecy of him. Not only that, see what the message of the Prophet Muhammad was. What did he want? So what did he ask? What did he say?
For pagans to follow the one true God. He wanted them to become monotheistic.
Muslim, be submitters of God.
Sure.
Did he say anything bad about the prophets?
No.
He said, I came to continue what the Prophet said before me.
Yeah.
And you know another thing that the Prophet Muhammad said? He said that if the Christian becomes a Muslim, a submitter, he will get double the reward of a regular person, a pagan, for example, become a Muslim. You understand?
Yeah.
So this is some food for thought, bro. I appreciated this conversation. Do you have any?
Yeah, this is good.
I loved it, bro. Do you have anything else you want to add, bro?
No, I mean, I really enjoy this conversation.
I loved
like
it, bro.
talking religion. I like talking philosophy. So I mean, it's just real interesting.
I love it, bro. I'll give you my number, and you can come back, bro. We're here usually on Fridays, like the same time. Like
Yeah, I've seen y'all a few times around here. Yeah.
come by anytime,
You
bro.
want to just take it down?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, no, I love this. It brings me back to my days of just studying philosophy, religion.
No, just come back anytime, bro. We can just keep doing videos
Of course.
until you become Muslim.
That's your goal.
You know why it's my goal, bro? It's because I love you, bro. I swear, and I'm not saying it like some of the Christian preachers. Oh no, I actually love you. I actually don't want you to burn in hell. Actually, I swear to God.
Yeah. And I say the same.
Bismillah. What am I doing? Oh, I wrote my name. Bro, I'm gonna be honest. We haven't been here in 2 weeks. I'm a little rusty. Roman, soon, Muslim, UH. Okay, I got you, bro.
All right, man.
I'll text you.
This. Yes, sir.
All right, bro. Anything else you want to add? Khalid, UH.
No, I think we're good.
You gotta go too, right?
Yeah, I gotta test real quick.
I appreciate your time,
All
man.
right, man.
You have a good day.
Thank you for talking.
Yeah, bro. Have a good day.